right? Let's get back to Moncton and bring Reem Fayyad.
I think that's awesome. We're back home for a few minutes.
Hi everyone, hello.
Wow. All right. So you're in Moncton. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's good. We're all in here. Well, one of the cool things is you're going to be speaking about do not think and grow rich. I like that. Oh yeah. So you're also a famous writer, public speaker with John Maxwell as well, and lead with Rem, Reflections, and it inspires. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the jaw gets stuck. Empowers others to grow. Executive Director of Performance Measurements at New Brunswick's Health Council. I should not have taken a break and ate. That's his job. You've lived in Kuwait, Lebanon, Dibay, Moncton in 2010. Oh, awesome. Passion for the Cultures and Art Board of Directors of the Fry Festival in Moncton. Thank you for giving to that cultural community of the city of Moncton. Founding member of the Arv Culture Club, and a vocalist with the music band. Two so far self-published books of poetry. I love it. So Window of Truth is your Facebook page. So hey, I can't wait to hear what you've got to bring.
Thank you.
We might get her to sing to us in Arabic.
Maybe at some point in time, yeah. So thank you, Adi and Darlene. What an energy today. What a diverse lineup of speakers. All the messages shared today, very inspiring. And what a topic, because what's better actually than talking about this topic during Valentine's weekend? When Ali invited me to be part of this wonderful summit, and he shared the title, The Journey Back to Our Humanity, then he asked me about what I would like to talk about. I was like, oh my God, there are so many angles and perspectives to this. So what shall I choose? And after giving it some thought, I chose to share a reflection that I experienced personally during my journey. And it ties up very, very nicely with the title, Returning Back to Humanity and the Journey Back to Our Humanity. Because throughout my life, since I graduated from university, I've worked mostly for the public sector. My personality and mission in life were more aligned with serving a public good. And despite few projects, I still work definitely some of the projects with the private consulting firms, but working for profit never appealed to me. In fact, it used to go against my vibes. And I started to wonder, why was that feeling? What is it that was feeling wrong about it? And I realized that, of course, it was not a reaction against the private sector per se. The private sector is very important in the economic development everywhere, but it was mostly against the vibes I used to get because of this common culture in the private sector of money making as the target. When you work for profit. So you see, when you consider money, when you have in your values or the way of thinking, you consider money to be a tool and not a goal, it is hard for your brain to be wired in a way that would be running after the dollar sign. And regardless of how appealing or attractive that may be, it definitely can be very attractive and appealing. It's just a different perspective when you look at that from that perspective. And that's why when 2 years ago, I was recommended the book Think and Grow Rich as the game changer in personal development, I had mixed feelings. The title was very provoking. Who wouldn't be attracted to such a title? I signed up for the virtual sessions. Those were sessions that summarized the learnings from that book, and I read the book. However, the only way I was able to read and learn from that book and for that book to resonate with me was when my mind replaced the word rich with words like better or successful. Because after all, success is a very relative concept. It's highly dependent on how you define it and how it relates to your values, priorities in life, and as such. And eventually, I realized while reading that book, just like all the content that equates personal development and success with becoming a millionaire, that if people read it searching for a quick recipe to being millionaires financially, then the only thing those books do is creating money making machines that only measure success by how many zeros are in their earned income. Individuals who are never satisfied. And unfortunately, it is this profit-driven culture, the money-driven culture, that has distanced us away from our humanity. That culture triggered that sense of a wild competition for rich when we equate rich with money. Not only did it triggered that sense, but it also normalized it. It has become very normal as a synonym for success, unfortunately. And don't get me wrong, when I talk about like a competition, now you're speaking to a person who has always been competitive since childhood. If you ask anyone who had known me since I was a child, they would tell you how competitive I was. You're speaking to someone who at some point in time in grade 5 came back home crying because my report card said I had a second rank rather than first rank in my class. So being first in class was kind of something I had been very proud of. And so that's just to speak to how competitive I was. But it is what we compete for and how we compete that actually determine our humanity, not just like the competition per se. We need to know what we're competing for, and it's the approach in competition that determines and distinguishes what's human versus what's not human. When your competitor, when your competition and your competitor inspires you and motivates you to get better, that is human. Unfortunately, the common trend in competition nowadays is comparing to others in a way that leads to frustration rather than inspiration. Questions like, why can't I be like them or more than them? Wanting to be as or to have more than them. Now, when we don't take the time to learn from them and their journeys and just focus on where they are now, we allow that to make us feel inferior because we are not there. Think of our children, like what are we teaching them as role models when we compete with that kind of a perspective? When now we have lots of children who come to us asking, why does my friend X has this phone or that sophisticated gadget or that dress or watch? Why can't I have that? What are we teaching them? They're looking at us as role models. So we need to be very careful about what we show them. And how we look at what's our perspective. What does that kind of a perspective bring? What do those feelings and perceptions lead to? It's only self-centeredness, selfishness, and eventually frustration. And what do we gain from frustration? Frustration can only lead to negative thoughts about ourselves, because it might reflect or translate into that kind of sense of failure or incompetence, limiting beliefs. And it also leads to negative feelings about others. The jealousy question, like why them? Those negative feelings, they lead to miserable individuals who are never satisfied, who don't like themselves. And that's a trap. It's a trap, and it's a vicious circle that can be consuming of our energies. It can be draining for our energy and morals. And It is that trap or circle that derails us away from our humanity. So it is how we compete that determines our humanity. And it's also what we compete for. So when our competition is towards serving others, that is human. Nowadays, competition is all about getting more titles, more assets, more money, more attention. When that form of competition for more got normalized, the lens shifted in our life towards what we get rather than what we can give. This urge to get more has grown to the extent of crossing the line, sometimes to the extent of get what we get at the expense of taking from others. And we need to let that sink in and reflect on it. What are we getting? Do we get it at the expense of taking from others? That competition and that comparison game I'm speaking about now, it think about it, it has intensified over time. And social media was the fuel to that kind of a blaze, because it exposed everyone in a show-off way. We want to show off what we have, what we've achieved, sometimes not to inspire, but just to present the case that we have more, or look at us, like here we are. And this kind of created an appetite for comparison and competition. And not only it created the appetite, it also created a craving for more. So what is humanity? Humanity is about what we give, not what we get. And if what we get is our measure of success and it's the reason for being happy in life, we will never achieve that goal, because getting is so addictive. It's like drugs. And that means that we will never be satisfied or content. It is what you give or share with the world, what the world gets from you, is what adds value to others. It is what will spread joy, not only to others, but also to you, because you realize your contribution to others, how you made them happy, how you helped someone else. And that is humanity. So if all what you think about is growing rich financially, earning more money, and if that is accompanied by being less humane, less happy, less satisfied, then that is definitely not success. It is in fact mere failure. So just to close here, that's why I do believe that the journey back to our humanity can never start with a mindset that searches for books or courses or podcasts that advocate for becoming a millionaire or becoming rich as the goal or the destination. Hence why my message to you today, my message is, do not think and grow rich if growing rich is all about being rich financially, and it's strictly about becoming a millionaire. And thank you.
Wow, some powerful, powerful message in that. Money is a tool, right? It is, to get to other things. When you spoke about competition, sometimes people compete too much, never satisfied. We know there's a lot of people out there, just complainers, never satisfied. Selfish. Yeah, selfishness is not something that you'll see in any of these speakers here today. We are chasing and giving. We're not chasing the almighty dollar, as they say. I love when you said rich replaces success, or even better, right? And spending your time in the public sector. We are blessed, and thank you for your service in the public sector, because it takes a lot. You need a suit of armor, all those people.
Thank you.
Awesome. I just love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity, Ali and Darlene. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. And everyone, remember, don't think and grow rich. Grow rich in the heart, grow rich in the spirit, and be in service. Because service plus significance give you success, not the opposite. Thank you, Rain, my friend.
Thank you.
Have a good one.